Hey, how's it going? And welcome to the Southern Trust. I got another video for you. This is actually me and Robert kind of debriefing the other video I posted where after we went and looked at that kind of hideous house. So we're just kind of breaking down rehabs and rehab cost and just kind of talking through that process. So hope you like this video. If you do, like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And yeah, thanks for checking out the Southern Trust. So Robert and I just finished an inspection on a house over in Pensacola that he was looking at flipping. And he had some questions for me just about what I would do with a rehab like that and how we would kind of tackle it. You know, me and my dad and my brother and my mom have flipped some properties. We flipped about $1 million worth of properties over the last few years. And so as a wholesaler, it's difficult to get the pricing right on your properties. And so we're just going to kind of have a conversation about what that looks like and what do we think, rehab costs are going to be on a property like the one that we just went and looked at.
Yeah, man. And so like I was saying, like I know like the swimming pool, like that's obviously, that would be a giant undertaking. And then also the thing with being able to access the underside of the property of the house, there's really just, you can't get around that. But I was wondering, if those two things weren't an issue, what your standard rehab might cost in a house like that? Because I feel like that's like your standard Pensacola house. Brick home built in around 1955. It's like a 3.2 or a 4.2. So that's going to be your standard. it's like right at 2,000 square feet. So I feel like if you can kind of narrow down if I can get a good idea on what that rehab might cost, but I'm pretty sure that I could figure out like what a 1,500 square foot, a 2,500 square foot, rehab might cost.
So I think the biggest thing you got to look at when you're dealing with rehabs is, what is that price per square foot going to be? And I think most rehabs, when you're looking at a house like that where it's going to need all new windows, all new flooring, bathrooms redone, kitchen redone, you're going to be looking at a cost between $35 and $40 a square foot. And one thing to take into consideration or to keep in mind when you're dealing with houses is your price per square foot is actually going to go up as the square footage of the house goes down. And then your price per square foot for rehab is going to go down as the square footage goes up. However, your total cost is going to explode and get much bigger as the house gets bigger. So, you think about it like this. Let's say you bought a house in downtown Pensacola that is in East Hill, which is a real nice neighborhood in our area. Let's say you were able to get that house for the sake of easy numbers, $100,000. All right, it's 1,000 square foot house. It's $100,000. ARV on it, for the sake of easiness, is $200,000. All right, so let's say that house is going to cost you $40 per square foot to rehab. It's 1,000 square foot house. It's going to cost you $40,000. So you're going to be into that house $140,000, and you're going to be able to sell it for an ARV of $200,000. Well, now let's take that and look at a house that's, let's say, 3,000 square feet. So your 3,000 square foot house, let's say it cost you $100,000. Let's say that the cost per square foot for rehab is, $35 a square foot, but it's 3,000 square feet. So what does that come out to? I think it's what?
Yeah, 3,000 times 35. That's going to be.
I'm not good at math, but I should listen to Wrangler Star. Never do math on camera. Anyway, it's somewhere in the 100,000 range. So I really think that's probably a good. Yeah. Don't do math on camera.
Yeah,
that's the long and short of it. Anyway, it's going to be way bigger as far as cost. So $40,000 versus somewhere between $90,000 and $100,000. Way more cost with a 3,000 square foot house, and that's cost that's coming out of your pocket, right? That's cost that you've got to have in either hard money or in a loan from a bank for a flip loan or something along those lines, and if you don't have that, hard cash available, it's going to be much more difficult to do that big house than it would be to do a much smaller one where you might have, some sort of creative financing to get the house, or you could do a subject to, and now all you need is 40 grand and you're off to the races, where this other house, you're probably going to need a lot more capital to make that happen.
For sure. Yeah, man. So like, I know, so like I'm trying to go in there and I'm just trying to do like quick estimates and stuff. And I've heard like other people talk about like, when there's like a couple different levels as far as like, the type of rehab they want to do. So I know the $35 one, I feel like that's a pretty stout rehab. Like that's going to be your full job.
Yeah.
But I mean, are there any like subsidiary levels, like maybe like a level 2 where it's like 25 or like a $15 per square foot level?
Yeah, I think there are those rehabs out there, right? So let's say it's a 1970s house that's been well maintained. Let's say husband dies, wife needs to move out and live with family. She wants to get rid of the house. And you can pick it up. Let's just use the house that you were looking at today, for instance. Let's say it was in good condition, didn't have the crazy pool, didn't have the crazy hole into the house. I think you're looking at, if it's in good condition, going in, paint, light fixtures, light and bright, and some marketing. I think you could probably get away with, $10 to $15 a square foot on something like that.
Okay, so are you saying, so like for the 10 to 15, is that just going to be a house that just needs like your paint, updating the light fixtures, and what was the other one you said?
So make it light and bright, right? So opening up your windows, getting rid of any kind of like blinds or shades or stuff like that, because people just love natural light.
Gotcha.
Natural light is it sells properties.
For sure.
So.
For sure. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, man. I mean, so at the top end, like you got your full job. Then on the low end, like you got to update the windows. You got to do new paint. The light fixtures and everything. So, is there anything like in the middle? Like, would you like if you were doing like a 2025? Is that like would you add like flooring to that, or what's your?
Yeah, I think you add flooring, add maybe a vanity here, maybe updating the kitchen a little bit by painting the kitchen cabinets, painting the vanities. Maybe you're doing some sheetrock work throughout. Maybe you're scraping the ceilings, getting rid of the popcorn, making them smooth. Those are the kind of numbers you're going to be looking at on a kind of middle of the road budget. But if you're doing like a full-on rehab, depending on the kind of materials you're using and how frugal you are and how you get those materials, and whether you do the work yourself or you hire somebody out, you're going to be between $35,000 and $50,000. If you're hiring people out, that number could go way higher if you don't have some good contractors that can give you the right pricing. So
cool. Well, yeah, man. I mean, that feel like that definitely gives me a solid understanding of. I can run through a property, a quick walk through 15 minutes, man. I can look around like, okay, the kitchen looks good, everything, bathrooms are in decent shape. This might be a situation where I come in, new windows, update the colors on the wall, stuff like that. So yeah, man, I mean, I appreciate that for sure. Definitely know what to be looking for. So next time, hopefully I can narrow down those estimates. And then one last thing, I mean, if you're doing just a rent-ready house, I mean, what does that even cost?
Rent-ready it really depends, right? So is there a renter in there now? What kind of condition is the house in? If there's already a renter in there, it's probably going to be really minimal, right? So a lot of times, when we got properties that are coming to us that already have a tenant in them, they're probably already like not in great condition, but the tenant wants to stay there, and the tenant's been there for 5 years. I'm gonna let it ride.
Yeah, for sure.
Because cash flow, right? That's what we're all looking for. We're all looking for that passive income. We're all looking for the property that is producing a solid cash on cash return. And I mean that ultimately is what real estate investing comes down to. What return are you getting on your cash that you're putting into the property? And if you're getting a solid return on that cash and you're servicing any kind of debt that you have to procure that property or to keep that property, it's a win all day long. You know, that's what I look at when I'm looking at an investment, whether I'm looking at it to flip or I'm looking at it to hold as a property. You know, I'm always going to evaluate cash on cash return.
Gotcha. So basically, when it comes to estimating the repairs, just make sure that they're not too much to where you can't make any cash on the deal. Is that correct?
Yeah, for sure. And make sure that your purchase price. So that one thing that I learned from another investor who's super savvy and has given me a lot of advice over the years is looking at your purchase price, then looking at what your ARV is, and then looking at your repair costs. And these are the numbers that he told me to go by. So basically, what your ARV is, your purchase price, you want to be, if you're buying it to flip it, you want to be 30% below that ARV at your purchase price. Then you want to subtract from that your repair cost. So that's your actual purchase price, right? So 30% below ARV minus repair cost is a good buy, right? So if you can estimate those repair costs pretty reasonably, and you know what your ARV is going to be, and you're picking it up for 30% below ARV minus repairs, it's a solid buy all day long for a flip.
Gotcha. All right, man. Well, yeah, you know, I mean, there's, you know, we could go down this rabbit hole for days. I mean, there's so much stuff that goes into the repairs and everything. But I do feel like there's three tiers to your repair costs, like that 15 to 25 and 35. I feel like anybody, you know, if they're, you know, at least beginner to a novice level, you can go in and pretty much do a quick estimate. So yeah, man, I appreciate that, brother. Thank you so much for being over there.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me out to inspect that property. It was a real doozy. So
yeah, it was. We had time with it for sure.
Look forward to doing it again, man. Thanks.
All right, brother.
Hope you enjoyed this video, and this is how we end our Christmas season.